Hello team, welcome to your postpartum Pilates session. This session will be about 30 minutes long and it will be suitable if you are still pregnant as well. I'll be offering a couple of modifications as we go along. I do have a special little helper with me today. This is my son Skylar. He's currently 5 months old and I'm going to be leading you through a couple of things that I did definitely early on that helped me to recover. So we're going to start on our mats, sitting on our sit bones for a little bit of a stretch. I'm just going to take my socks off so we're ready to go. First of all, let's start with just warming up the hips. So take the feet flat onto the mat and I want you to wipe them one way and then wipe them the other way, taking them to the left and then taking them to the right. So just getting a little bit of movement through your lumbar, movement through your hips is definitely a great place to start when you're looking to return back to exercise. Starting off with mobility is the best place. Obviously, you might start off with a little bit of walking, which is fantastic, so great for the mind, the body, getting outside with your baby. No matter how rough your night is, walking is a great option. But you do want to start to progressively add a little bit of T-zone and core activation into what you're doing as well. So we're starting off with just wiping the hips side to side. Fantastic. The next exercise we're going to do is a chest stretch. So your hands are behind you, fingertips pointing away. I want you to roll your shoulders back and then lifting your hips up off the ground. So we're coming into a reverse tabletop position. Coming back down and lifting and squeezing back up. As you come up into your full range, make sure your tailbone is tucked underneath you. And you might find that this gives you a nice little stretch through your wrists as well. If that feels like it's a little bit too much, instead, take your hands behind you, clasping onto your fingertips and lifting the arms away from the body. Really important to be stretching out through the chest, especially if you're breastfeeding. Holding for 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Coming up into a half kneeling position. We're going to stretch out through the hamstrings as well. So you want to come into a half kneeling position. Take your left foot out in front of you. Take it nice and long on your mat. Shoot your hips back and then leaning forward into the stretch. So the reason why it's so important to be stretching out your hamstrings and continuing to do work to lengthen out through the back is that you will find that your pelvis will be slightly rotated after birth. You'll tend to hang into that sort of lordotic position where the belly flops forward because you're used to that weight. So it is really important that you're focusing on bringing your pelvis back into good alignment, pulling the hips underneath you, holding for 3, 2, and 1. Let's change to the other side. Hello, Bubba. So you might find that with your bubs, having them in front of you might only last maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but trust me, the more that you can exercise with them, the more that they will get used to what it means when you go on your mat. And if you talk through what you're doing, generally they're pretty happy as well. Holding this side for 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful work. Okay, we're going to start off on our mats. We're going to start off with some T-zone activation. So you want to start with your feet hip distance apart. Okay, and we're sitting up nice and tall and we're rolling back, holding our hands on our thigh as we come down into a full laying position, feet hip distance apart. I want you to start off with engaging the T-zone. So imagine that from the hip bone to hip bone across your pelvis, you want to pull in, that activates your transverse abdominis, and then lifting and squeezing through your pelvic floor. You should feel like there is a little arch underneath the lower part of your back. Now we're going to start with bent knee fallouts. You want to keep engaged through that T-zone, light contraction, pulling in, fingertips to the inside of the hips. As you drop the right knee down, isolating it as we pull back up and through. Dropping over to the left side. So I'm going to shift my hips a little bit, over to the left and returning. In through the nose as the knee comes down, out through the mouth as it comes back up. So as we start to relearn to breathe postpartum, it's really important that you're getting that sensation of engaging the T-zone and relearning that breathing out on the effort to really be able to brace through the core. Now this exercise is great if it's the first thing you're doing returning back postpartum. So this Pilates session really is great once you've had your clearance from your doctor, or if you're feeling ready to start doing these exercises. Great if you've had a cesarean because your feet are flat on the ground. Obviously just keep moving within your range, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Let's go 2 more. And last one, beautiful. We're gonna keep with that single side isolation for foot slides. So again, engage the core and you're sliding your foot out long on the mat and then sliding it back in and then changing over to the other side. This exercise is slightly easier if you've got socks on and your mat isn't as grippy. But all we're doing is imagining our feet sliding out and engaging the core as we pull the foot back in. There we go, that's better. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Make sure that you've still got that little gap underneath the lower part of your spine. Last 2. And 1. Beautiful. The next exercise we're going to do is lift foot. So again, have your feet hip distance apart. Engage that T-zone, hip bone to hip bone pulling in, pelvic floor drawing up. Engage the core, pull the belly button down. You're going to float the right leg up into tabletop and then take it back down to the ground. Now, if you've had a cesarean, you would like to spend a little bit of time doing exercises such as these before you go and you lift both legs up off the ground. You will find that having your legs fully up in a tabletop position will definitely put a lot of pressure on that lower part of your abdominal wall where you've had the insertion. So it's important that you focus on building strength in this position first, with your feet nicely supported on the ground. Core tight as we lift up and then floating the leg back down. Notice that the knee stays in the same amount of flexion. We want to make the leg nice and heavy, and every time we're lifting it up, we're imagining that our core is what's doing the work. Beautiful work, team. Let's go for 2. Excellent. And last one. And what we're going to do now is we're going to advance it on. We're going to extend the foot. Now, if you'd like to stay with what we were just doing just then, by all means go for it. But otherwise, join me. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth as we extend the leg, point the toe, in through the nose, and then drift that leg back down to the ground. Lifting the foot, extending it long. Beautiful work, team. Coming back in and floating it back down. Core tight, making sure that we're not rocking or rolling from side to side. Now, I did say at the start of this video that this workout's pretty safe for anyone that's actually still pregnant. So if you are first trimester or second trimester, you can definitely still be doing these exercises, providing you feel okay on your back. As you move into the third trimester, you really do want to be backing off any sort of laying positions where you're on your back. And you obviously also want to be backing off quite a lot of traditional core work such as this. That doesn't mean you're not doing core work at all. It just means that it will look slightly different. But this workout and these exercises are fine if you're in your first or second trimester, if it feels good for you. Let's go one more, lifting the foot, extending it long, coming back in and dropping it back down. Rolling over to your side, I want you to come into a side lying position where your bicep is on your ear is on your bicep. I want you to glue your legs together and we're going to do a double leg lift. I want you to pull in through the core so you're nice and tight and stable. We're going to lift the feet and then come back down. So this exercise here is going to be working through the side of your waist. Okay, engaging your obliques, which will need to turn off somewhat when you are pregnant to allow the baby to be, I guess, moving your rib cage and finding space as he or she grows. As we come out of pregnancy in that postpartum phase, it is really important that we learn to engage those obliques again. As we come up, let's start lifting the upper body too. Let's hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come back down to the mat. Core tight as we lift, holding for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and back down. Good, keep going with this, girls. Core tight, belly in, legs glued together. Get a little bit of an inner thigh work too. And let's go one more on this side. Lifting up, squeezing, 3, 2, 1. Bend the knees, push yourself up off the mat. And we're gonna have a little side stretch, just lengthening out through the waist. Pushing your hip over. And let's come over onto the other side. So laying again long on your mat. Hello, Bubba, I'm over with you now, aren't I? Bicep onto ear, glue the legs together, and we're going to lift up and come back down. Oh, you're okay. Lifting up and squeezing. Oh, really? Do you want to show everyone that you can roll? Pulling up and down. Let's start with that upper body lift and hold. So up to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And coming back down. And then coming up and holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Core tight, point the toes, extend the body for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Looking great, girls. Let's go for 2 more. Lifting up and holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and back down. Last one, team. Lifting up, hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent work. We're going to bend the knees now. Take the feet in line with the body. I want you to really press the soles of your feet together as you lift up through the knee and take it back down. So clams are great for continuing to build that hip stability. So we're going to be doing a little bit of a leg focused series now. And notice that the knee really doesn't lift very high. I'm making sure I'm squeezing my feet together as I'm lifting the kneecap up. I'm pulling in through the waist, imagining that I've got a little pocket of air underneath my hip, or a blueberry I'm not wanting to squish. Good. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to hold the knee up and we're going to extend the foot. We're going to pull the feet back together and drop the knee. So this is clam with a foot extension. Beautiful. Lift the foot, extend. Lovely work here, team. We're getting those glutes warmed up. Don't forget about your breathing and the importance of bracing through the core here. 2 and 1. Keep the leg extended. We're going to go into circles. So again, nice and stable through the core and pelvis. Draw your leg out in front of you as you take it high and then drop it around. Imagining that you're tracing little teeny tiny circles. Toe pointed. Beautiful. Take the circles as big as you like, but just keep in mind that you want to make sure that you're keeping your upper body nice and stable. Let's take it to the top and reverse it. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Find the foot hip height again. We're going to do bicycles. So I want you to kick your foot to the front. I want you to flex your foot as you bend it and take the foot behind you. Extend long. Imagine someone's really pulling your leg back. Point the toe, draw it forward, flex the foot, and kicking it behind you. Beautiful. If you find that you get a little foot cramp, go easy on the toe flexion. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Lovely work here, team. Looking so strong. Let's go for 3 and 2. Last one. Beautiful. Let's change it over to the other side. So again, ear goes down onto bicep, feet are in line with your bum. Glue those legs together and we're lifting the knee. Clam 1. Beautiful. Core tight, lifting through the belly, making sure that you're isolating through your sides. If you're struggling to feel this one through your glute, I'd suggest really pressing the feet together. Can really help. Beautiful. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lift the leg and extend the foot. Bring the feet back together and drop the knee. Lift and extend. Lovely work. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Five more. And 4. Beautiful. And 3. Good. And 2. And 1. Let's finish the legs off. We've got leg circles. So keep the leg up nice and high. Point the toe as you start tracing little circles with that top hip. Engage the glute. Sometimes it helps to have your hand on your thigh or on your glute. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Looking good, girls, looking stable. Be careful that you're not swinging around. For 3, 2, and 1. Let's go the other direction. Draw the leg up and around. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We've got bicycles. Sweep the foot forward, point the toe, flex the foot, stretch it back and kick it behind you. I'm very close to this couch here. There we go, fixed up. Point the toe, sweep the leg behind you and extend long. This feels good. Working on the strength of that hip. For 3, and 2, and 1. Beautiful. Roll yourself over. You're going to be coming into a 4-point position, and we're going to work a little bit through our triceps for some tricep push-ups. Now from this position, I want you to lift up through your belly, engaging your T-zone, and you can do your tricep push-ups from this position, or you can walk your knees back slightly, maybe 30 centimeters or so that you're engaging and challenging the core just that little bit more. If you're returning back to exercise, however, I would recommend going from a 4-point position where your knees are directly underneath your hips. So let's do these ones together. Fingertips spreading out nice and broad on the mat. Scoop up through the belly, lifting it to the spine. Elbows pull backwards to the body, and we press the floor away. Drawing the elbows back and press the floor away. Allow the body to tilt forward. This one's a great one to do if your bubba is still in front of you. Little baby push-up kisses. And again, walking your knees back as you develop strength in this position. If you've had a cesarean, I would strongly encourage you to be really mindful when you're in this forward position that you're still able to brace through the core, which is why you are much better off having your knees underneath you to keep control of the core. And even if it's just a small bend of the elbows, you will get stronger, trust me. Keep going here, girls. Come on, we've got 5 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely work. The next series we can do laying on our mat. I'm going to be demonstrating it from a kneeling position for anyone that is pregnant. If you are feeling comfortable laying fully on the ground, you can do this one fully laying. However, if you're newly postpartum, you might find that you're a little bit sore across the chest, and laying all the way down on the ground might not be where you're at currently. So let's start with a little forward lean, and we want to take our arms out into a cactus position. From here, we're going to be pulling the shoulder blades down and back. So all we're doing here is activating the shoulders to pull down and back, and then relaxing. Good. A little bit of lower trap activation. Good. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful work. We're going to take the arms out in front, and we're going to do a Y raise. Take the fingertips down to the mat and thumbs to the sky. Once again, you can be doing this one laying fully down on the mat. Pull the shoulder blades down and back for 3, and 2, and 1. Take the hands out to the sides here. We're going to do T raises, thumbs to the sky, lifting and lowering. So this is a great exercise to strengthen through the middle of the back, which will help to pull the shoulders down and back, help you to open up your chest for 3, 2, and 1. And then last exercise, take the arms behind you. We're going into flight. I want you to pull the thumbs up to the sky, external rotation of the forearms and the shoulders, and then roll them back. Lovely work. You'll get a nice little burn through the shoulders, through the triceps. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Beautiful work for 5, 4, 3, and 2, and 1. We've got 2 series to go, girls. The next one, we're going to go back into a 4-point position here. Knees underneath hips, core tight. We're going to start with a horse kick 1. So if you are returning back to exercise, especially if you're postpartum, you will find lifting the arm and the leg quite intense, which is why I'd recommend starting with a horse kick variation where you're really able to snap up through the belly. So core tight as you extend the right leg long, and we're going to be lifting and then sweeping the knee in. So from this position, you want to be thinking about keeping your hips nice and stable, engaging your glute as you're pulling the leg up nice and long. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Beautiful work. Nice long breaths here. Careful that your hips are not twisting for 3, 2, and 1. We're going to pulse it out here, leg long, toe down, and drive. Good. So it's just a lift and lower, full range, core tight, working on the endurance of your core. Make sure rib cages are pulling down, obliques are on, and your glute is squeezing at the top of the range for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the leg up. We're going to do 10 little beats, just dropping the leg lower slightly and take it up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take the knee to the mat and let's go over to the other side. Core tight, snap up through the belly, left leg extends, sweep it up and then draw that knee in. Of course, if you're a little bit further along with your recovery, you might like to add the opposite arm with this exercise. Great little challenge. Going nice and slow, really think about every single muscle activating underneath you. In through the nose, out through the mouth. For 3, and 2, and 1. Hold the leg up, we're dropping the toes down, lifting and squeezing. Check your hips haven't rotated. Make sure that they're nice and straight. Sometimes we end up falling into the knee that we're bracing on. Good. Flex the foot. Activate through the backs of the legs for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the leg in that top range. Drop it slightly with little pulses for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll yourself over onto your back. We've got one last exercise and then we're going to stretch it out, team. Feet go flat on the mat. Make sure that you use your hands to roll yourself back. And we're going into hip pelvic curls. So you want to roll the hips towards you. So you're tucking the pelvis up towards your face. You want to drive through the heels as you extend the hips up long, holding for 1, and then painting the ground with your vertebrae as you come back down. Beautiful. So this is another lovely exercise, super gentle, to be doing early postpartum recovery. Fantastic on the core, and it's a great one to really feel your pelvic floor pulling in. Good. If you're ready, we can advance this one along. If you'd prefer not to, stay with this double leg pelvic curl. Otherwise, we're going to lift one foot up, match it with the opposite knee, squeeze tight, lift the hips and roll back down. Beautiful. Squeeze the knees together. Keep your hips nice and level. 5, 4, 3, and 2. Last one. Beautiful. Change over to the other side. If you're still doing double leg lifts, keep going with me. Your strength will come back little bit by little bit, day by day. So be patient, don't rush it. 5, 4, 3, hips level, 2, and 1. Lovely work here, team. Let's give our glutes a little stretch out. So sitting onto your sit bones, let's take the left foot on top of the right knee. Sitting up nice and tall as you bring your chest towards your shin. Roll your shoulder blades down and back. Take a nice big deep breath in and long breath out. Press into the hip, pull your chest forward just that little bit more, flex the foot. And let's change to the other side. Foot goes on top of the knee. Sit up nice and tall, chest forward, in through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Beautiful. Last stretch here. We're going to go into a spiral stretch or a side stretch, sitting on your knees, taking the elbow down to the ground and pulling your arms up and over. Big deep breath in, deep breath out. Let's change to the other side. Beautiful. There we have it, girls. A lovely little 30-minute postpartum Pilates session. Perfect if you are just coming back to exercise. Also a great option if you're in your first or second trimester, with those few little modifications getting you up off your belly. Please let me know how you went, what you enjoyed, and I can't wait to see you back here again for another Pilates workout. Have a brilliant day.